think it's time that we have a quick look at what is going on with Sofyan Amrabat. Now, who's a player that I was extremely excited about when he was coming to United, and I wasn't on my own. There was plenty of us absolutely raving about him prior to his arrival. He looked a hell of a player for Fiorentina, and he really put his name on the map with the performances at the World Cup with Morocco, which saw a record-breaking campaign for an African side. And it showcased two completely different versions of Sofyan Amrabat. And I think it's an interesting topic to delve into, because whether or not Amrabat has or will reach the expectations of him prior to joining United, I think there's a lot of potential there for the quality that he's going to bring to us that we've already started to see in his performances. Now, prior to this week's Champions League game, he's made 5 appearances so far, and we've had the opportunity to have a bit of a decent look at him. And I think the first thing that stands out is he is a flexible option. I don't think any of us had him marked down to feature at left back until Erik ten Hag went, yeah, cool, off you go, left back. And I think that level of flexibility has been quite surprising, actually. We all knew that he was a player that could adapt. We knew that he'd already showcased that he had the ability to be a with the ball player and a without the ball player, but to fill in at left back was something that I didn't expect in the slightest. And while it's clear that United have been heavily missing the likes of Shaw and Reguilon, I think having Amrabat stepping in has been a really good stopgap for the time being. And I don't expect to get the best out of him in that position. I don't think you get the best out of the team by him being in that position. But when no one else can play there, it is what it is. I would also argue we're not even close to seeing the real Amrabat just yet. You know, he's not played too much in his favoured midfield position. I also think he's not been helped by the defence and the midfield around him. And obviously it can't be easy to join a new side, having to adapt to a new culture, new instructions, and in stepping into a role that he's not used to, but also a team that is struggling and short of confidence. It's so much easier to step into a team that's winning every game and the mood is high. That can't have been the case at United, and the mood at training can't also be fantastic either, because, well, everything from the defence to the right wing situation and everything in between has been a little bit of a mess. But I think he is adapting to his new role well. I think that role that he's shown at left back does require some responsibilities that Amrabat is very used to holding. The biggest of these demands, I think, is the ability to be able to step into midfield and work hard in possession and out. And I think an industrious player like Amrabat was never really going to have an issue slotting into an Erik ten Hag team that needs to work. He brings courage, he brings determination. You know, those are things that we already knew that he was going to bring to the table. And I think he's a character on the pitch. And I think he'll be a character in training. I haven't heard from anybody what he's like in training yet, and I'm excited to find out, actually. But I think he's someone that's going to grow on United fans. He's got that sort of controlled aggression that we always admire. And he brings a little bit of a level of shithousery that does remind me a little bit of Ander Herrera. And I think you need that when times are tough. I think you need to have the confidence in someone that's going to know a way out of a sticky situation. And sometimes it looks like he's on the brink of a red card. And I like that. I don't have an issue with that at all. If they're mature enough to avoid the booking, they can. I think it's a good intimidating factor for the opposition. Like, if you've got a player that you think might be unhinged, or he might boot me here, that's enough to just put an opposition player off. If they think you're soft, they're not going to do it. And you can see genuine confidence in him. And I hope that he doesn't have that knocked out of him, because we saw genuine confidence in Onana, which was rocked, although hopefully the performance against Copenhagen puts him back to where he started from. But you'll often see him making very impressive switches of play that you just don't see from Fred or McTominay or actually half of the players in our midfield. Hopefully we will see him consistently step into midfield alongside first-choice midfielders once the left-backs start returning to the lineup, see him permanently involved in there, and even seeing him involved against Sheffield United gives a bit of a sneak peek of what a fully adjusted Amrabat could do in the long term at United. Now, I think there's some interesting stats already, and I think when you compare his stats to the other midfielders, it's nice. his completion pass over the pass completion over the last year is in the 88%, which puts him in the 88th percentile, interestingly. And he also plays a really insane amount of passes. Per night, it's 69.34, which puts him in the top 90, top 10% of world football. And those passes aren't always safe. There's a good amount of them that are progressive as well, because 7.09 of those passes being played on average are progressive. That puts him in the 86th percentile for progressive passes. This is a player that moves the ball up the pitch. You know, those are based on just 1,700 minutes. So that shows you how much this player has been moving and progressing the ball forward for Fiorentina, for Morocco, for United. And I think there's a lot to look forward to with Amrabat. And I hope that there's even more progression and more settling. And he gets to grips with what this fan base is all about, because I think he could be a real positive contributor to the squad. And I'd love to see him play alongside Martinez, because I think they've both got a very similar personality trait. And I think that could be a multiplier. And I think they could be a real force together. And we're not going to see it till after Christmas. But what a Christmas present that'll be. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.